deh tadi pagi nih ya.
Bisa aman, alhamdulillah. Bisa
Tuh kan, pagi-pagi udah uget-uget aja. Terus lanjut aku ngajar?
Ya anak-anak, ayo siapa yang bisa? Coba kamu.
Bisa aman.
Duh, kok
Bisa
gini?
berkah.
Duh, ada lagi nih. Pas lagi ke tempat makan. Mas, mau pesen ya?
Iya Bu, bisa aman.
Duh, loh.
Bisa berkah?
Terus pas mampir SPBU bareng ojol,
Sore, bisa aman alhamdulillah.
Bisa berkah, alhamdulillah ya.
oh ternyata layanan syariah LinkAja. Kalau kata driver ojolnya,
Pakai aplikasi ini semua jadi mudah, Bu. Dari beli pulsa, bayar zakat, BPJS, sampai isi BBM, bisa berkah dan aman sesuai prinsip syariah.
dengan layanan syariah LinkAja, semua bisa berkah dan aman.
Mau dapat?
Barang no rupiah?
Stari Tokopedia.
Wakamu.
Pengguna baru.
Download Tokopedia sekarang.
Istri gue nih, perhatiannya sama gue, beuh.
Kamu makan apa? Sayur, buah.
Apalagi pas gue sakit. Kalau istri gue kasih Hasanah Card.
Ada promo. Diskon, cashback, voucher hot lagi.
Kalau lu bro?
Gak cuma buat belanja aja. Sama buat ini dan ini.
Bikin hidup lebih menyenangkan dan berkah dengan BSI Hasanah Card, kartu pembiayaan syariah.
Bank Syariah Indonesia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, modest people. How are you doing? Hope you guys are fine. We're still in the pandemic situation, challenging moment, but hey, we are gathered here and welcome to the series of talk show Togethery International Virtual Modest Fashion Summit powered by Layanan Syariah LinkAja organized by Markamari, supported by Council of Modest Fashion, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia, Wonderful Indonesia, Indonesian Chamber of Commerce, Badan Ekonomi Syariah, and official marketplace Tokopedia. My name is Shafira, and at the moment, on this session, I will be your host. I'm gonna conduct all the talk show. We're gonna discuss about something great today, and over the next hour, we will discuss the topic is about post-COVID. How is modest fashion in unity? Together with 7 modest fashion experts, amazing, powerful ladies from 7 countries, 4 continents representing Council of Modest Fashion. Togethery Summit would like to say thank you to all supporters of the 4 days virtual summit, media partners, Para Puan, Pop Mama, 30 local and international communities, FNB partners, and today I'm wearing a beautiful wardrobe from Restu Pratiwi. Thank you so much. And all the valuable supporters of this event. So, modest people, as we know that modest fashion industry is growing rapidly every year. Not to mention here Indonesia as the biggest Muslim population in the world. Nevertheless, the rapid growth of the industry and its popularity has been positioned modest fashion to its peak position. Modest fashion now is one of the it industry in fashion. The major modest fashion players around the world have their concern is that to nurture its true value that it was once known and believed for, which is sustainable and share common value. The modest fashion industry should stay on its roots, supporting the communities, stick to the guidelines, have a good impact on the earth, and give better voice to the talents inclusively. Due to the pandemic, in fashion industry and overall are facing challenges. As we all know, many business fall and shut down. Modest fashion industry also expected to support one another. One of the initiatives is through virtual event to reach the communities around the globe, around the world, without the need of travel. That's why we have to thank the technology. Therefore, this event is initiated Togethery International Virtual Modest Fashion Summits. It's a solidarity event made for us by us. The journey and milestones that modest fashion industry has endured to be finally acknowledged to be where we are now alongside the communities around the world. To be present and stand strong since modest fashion has been through lots of challenges during pandemic, Council of Modest Fashion as a non-profit organization with members from modest fashion brands, designers, entrepreneurs, and platforms makers around the world play a crucial role to strengthen the impact of modest fashion in the global scene, to unite and connect, also to support the community to overcome challenges during pandemic. This is a tough situation, but together we can, hand in hand, we can help and we can get through this situation together. All right. And for our session, our next session, together with us today, we'll present here virtually speakers from 7 countries, modest fashion expertise, and also representing the Council of Modest Fashion from 4 continents. How the strategy, we're going to talk about how the strategy and initiatives created by the COMS leaders, representatives of 7 countries to strengthen the modest fashion community and also the business during the pandemic in their countries will be discussed in this session. So please make sure that you are going to stay tuned until the end of the discussion. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about modest fashion, we're talking about COMS representative sequentially to explain the situation in Argent country related to modest fashion business and community during pandemic, and presenting programs, initiatives of modest fashion that give impact to others during pandemic. There are 7 amazing, exquisite ladies that will represent the situation about the modest fashion industry in their continent, in their country, so it can give you the inspiration to keep moving forward. Nevertheless, all right, without further ado, let's start. I'm going to introduce you our 7 lovely ladies. Number 1, we have co-founder Marka Mari and global head of COMF from Indonesia, our beloved country, Franca Surya. She's the brain of modest fashion with her multiple initiatives that accelerate the global industry, and also mentioned as one of influential hijabi worldwide by the National Dubai, featured in global media outlets from New York Times, Fast Company, Vanity Fair, Nikkei Asian Review, Channel News Asia, TRT World, Daily Mail, and many more. And also we have Dilyara Sadrieva. She's a CEO Modest Russia, head of COMF Russia and CIS. She's a modest fashion researcher and also analyst, modest fashion brands, designers, mentor, and also public speakers. One of the pioneers of modest fashion in Russia and the most influential modest fashion expert in Russia. And also we have Roshan Isaacs. She's a director at Style Africa Fashion Network and head of COMF Africa, an award-winning businesswoman. As broadcast specialist, the director at Style Africa Fashion Network, and she runs an ethical jewelry company, No Mimo, which promotes South African artisanal jewelry making and empowers previously unemployed women to generate income. And also, we have Farida Effendi, founder of Hijab Queen at HQS Group, COMF Azerbaijan, active in Council of Modest Fashion Azerbaijan since 2018. Took part in lot event, start from Ramadan Bazaar Grosvenor City in 2018, Dubai Modest Fashion Week at 2019, Istanbul Modest Fashion Exhibition at 2019, Baku Fashion Expo at the same year, Moscow Summer Bazaar at the same year, Amsterdam Modest Fashion Week in 2019, and also Dubai Modest Fashion Forum at 2020. And also we have Eugenia Salazar. She's the founder of Hijab Latino America, Maria Anur, COMF Latin America, based in Argentina. Maria Anur is a brand born in the Argentine Republic in 2013 and relaunched in 2019 with the idea of dressing any woman modestly. Maria Noor believes that the greatest challenge is to demonstrate that we can design modest clothing not only to Argentina but also the world. It's such amazing inspiration. And we have Miriam Labdiri. She's the founder of Miriam Labdiri and head of COMF Europe, based in Germany. And she's a award-winning German-Algerian fashion designer and creative director. She's a revolutionist, the German representation for diversity in the global fashion industry through her premium fashion brand Mizan in 2012. Will debut her first eponymous sustainable brand during Frankfurt Fashion Week, January 2021. I can't wait for that. And the collections showcase in Washington, Dubai, London, Istanbul, Jakarta, Frankfurt, and also in Berlin. And last but not least, we have Idea Mehnas. She's a brand image communications strategist and head of COMF South Asia, Bangladesh, based in France. She's a creative young lady and communications specialist with over 7 years of experience in global luxury fashion. Currently is the brand image and communications officer for the renowned French luxury fashion brand Mugler, which is owned by the world's biggest beauty conglomerate, L'Oreal Group. And also, she's a pioneer in the Modest Fashion Network, having represent Bangladesh at international events and panel discussions in Dubai, Istanbul, Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, and Paris. All right, that was all of our speakers that I will be represented to you at our session today. Please welcome our 7 amazing ladies from 7 countries, 4 continents. Assalamualaikum. Hi, how are you, ladies?
Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Hope you guys are well. To read all of your resume, everybody is curious about the situation about the modest fashion industry, especially in your base at the moment. We're gonna hear about the situation. Probably from this event, from this discussion, from what you guys are going to share, will inspire a lot of people, especially they who have the business and modest fashion for not stop right here just because of the pandemic. This is the trigger that we have to keep moving. All right, let's start the presentation from Franca, Syria, Indonesia.
Hello. Hi, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Let's go to our first page. Can you move to another? Okay, so I'm here to talk about global. So I don't talk specifically about a country. So what happened in modest fashion? So as you know, I think Shafira already mentioned before pandemic, modest fashion is on the peak of popularity. It's the it industry. And then what happened? It's also kind of accelerate the governments to start paying attention to modest fashion industry, not only in Indonesia, but I know in different countries as well. They started to push modest fashion as the new economy. And then a lot of brands wants to do modest fashion, so no longer is only community exclusive, but it's becoming more mainstream and mainstream. And then there is a concern, mainstream people, mainstream brands, the one that they want to do modest fashion, they don't really understand that modest fashion has its own guidelines. They have their own standards. So it's not only about clothes, but also there is value. So this is what we need to educate the world about modest fashion. And then what happened after pandemic? Functionality took over the fashion scene. There are a specific style that is selling very well. It's athleisure, and then sportswear, loungewear are dominating the scene. So I think because it's pandemic, people doesn't really think more about aesthetic. They are more about functionality. They buy because they want, and they want to be more healthy, and they're more relaxed because they're working from home. So this is what changed, the style change in the after pandemic. And then sustainability is very in because people started to think that we need to take care of the world more. I think pandemic bring this idea to everyone. So everyone started to think about how to create a sustainable modest wear and everything. And then also affordable clothes. I think this is one of the things why, because now the trend is more also to focus on Gen Z, which is they get used to the fast fashion. This is actually the contrary for sustainable fashion. So they want to buy affordable clothes. So it's no longer about, okay, it's a brand and I buy. It's more about, okay, I need it. I need to buy it. And then that's it. It has to be affordable. And then brands push to have more online appearance, and then they do live. So in the past, they do more like they show like beautiful pictures. That's it. Now a lot of modest brands started to do engaging activities like doing live or reels or TikTok and everything, just to push their products more, because people cannot go to their shop. So whatever they need to do to make the customers interested to their product. So that's why engagement is everything. So pandemic have been changing modest fashion to be more like engagement focus. And then we need to more programs that support the designers and brands. It's no longer about fashion has to be luxury, the bling bling, but it's more about how to make a good foundation for the brands, how to make the brands survive more, how is their financials, how is their products, how is the distribution. This is what we need more. In Indonesia, we do this with a program with Kemenparekraf, the Ministry of Tourism. It's Modest Fashion Funders Fund. I'm sure I heard also in South Africa they do, in Singapore. So this is some sort of trends right now. And then brands need to do more careful spendings. In the past, like they invest a lot on branding. Right now, a a lot of brands really taking care of their finance more. I think because of the situation is not stable, so everyone is being more careful. And then a lot of brands could not survive in pandemic. A lot of them are closed or they freeze their business. I heard a lot of this kind of story. Mostly the one that is not survive is mostly they're focusing on evening wear because maybe not too many parties or celebration happening. Mostly are online. Maybe some countries are good, but then after that another lockdown coming. So these kind of brands could not really survive well, but maybe some brands with good followings, they can survive. And then the other one is we need more innovations in modest fashion. Maybe using like specific fabric or anything. We need more innovation. So this is what we need in modest fashion right now. Innovations. That's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Mbak Franca, that you are showing to us what is really happening during the pandemic about the modest fashion generally in the world, especially what we are seeing or we are facing here in Indonesia. And next, we're gonna see the presentation, or we're gonna hear the situation, what's happening in Russia. Please welcome Dilyara Sadrieva.
Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, salam.
Happy to join this amazing initiative. So I read a couple of words about the situation in our region, in Russia, in Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, and other CIS countries. I think we have similar problems. Everybody suffered from COVID, from pandemic, and our goal is to support as much as possible the brands and modest Russian modest fashion industry and market is very diversity and very variable. We have a lot of talents. And the brands work in absolutely different segments, starting with low price segment to luxury. But even luxury brands now founded new brands that satisfy needs of low price customers or medium price customers, because very, very small people can afford luxury product now. So but the market has very, very high potency as number of customers is increasing all the time. And I must say that not only number, but in quality of customers is increasing too. And they want better and better product. They want to choose as it's not like it was before. They just bought that they had. Now they want to choose it, and they want a smart product. So that's why we are helping now the brands to make and to produce a really smart product, the product that really meet customer needs. This is very important, because sometimes we can see that mainstream brands, and we saw it in one of the events not long ago, one of Islamic summits here in Russia, that two very famous mainstream brands presented modest fashion collections. And I can't say it was successful. I can't say they really understand the needs, they really understand the market, they really understand what modest fashion customer need. So that's why we work not only with modest fashion brands, but with different organizations and mainstream brands to help them to understand the market, to understand the customer. We consult, we make different training. I also participate at different mainstream educational programs. They included modest fashion to their fashion programs. This is very important. Now we can see that modest fashion is getting more and more visible. And at the same time, we work with Russian Fashion Council and Mercedes Fashion Week now to help modest fashion designers to present their collections at this big fashion week. And also, it's not only for Russian designers and or CIS countries designers, it's also for international designers, for those who are interested to enter Russian market or maybe just present their country. This is also very important. One of the main problems that sometimes modest fashion are treated like a fun for Muslim ladies, and I can hear it even from Muslim businessmen.
Okay.
They don't treat it seriously. This is, I think, one of, yes, and we have to break this stereotype and, well, not to fight with it, but at least we should work with them. We have to explain, we have to show that we are serious. It's a business, it's not a fun. Till they don't understand it, we even can't get investment from Islamic banks, etc., because they treat fashion as a fun. So these are main problems at our market, but we are solving it. We are working all the time at it. We are working with designers, as I've told you, to help them to build professional business. First of all, when they work professional, everybody will understand that it's a serious business. So and also we work tight with designers from Uzbekistan, from Kyrgyzstan, and we'll present some this summit, in our virtual summit. And you can see all the talents, all the potency of the brands and designers from this region. I think my time is over.
All right. Okay, Dilyara, thank you so much for your presentation, your story. You are opening our eyes that in other countries, there is still plenty of people, or some people are not treating modest fashion as a serious thing. From the item that you are mentioning, it's proven that it's a high enthusiasm in the country. And also the population and the demand as well. So it's a good opportunity. And I think this is the best, or from this event like this we have, is the best opportunity to start collaborating. We'll see the update after the event. We are going to get through this together. All right, from Russia and CIS, now we'll move on to Africa. We're gonna hear the story and the presentation from Roshan Isaacs.
Hello, as the council created to help build a better support system for the industry, our mutual aim is to guide modest fashion talents in the most effective way through our growing network. And this has been consistent during, before, and even after the pandemic, for us here, at least in Africa. The team and I in Africa work as a support system, offering guidance, skills development, and network opportunities for modest fashion designers in 3 areas: new business, retail, and global development. Conf Africa is therefore represented by 3 directors in South Africa, whose expertise are divided into these respective fields. Our new business development director is Amina, who also runs a nonprofit organization called I Deserve It, that aids in the skills development of startups and entrepreneurs. And this sort of helps the Conf objectives in dealing with anyone who is a startup within the modest fashion industry. Our retail development director is Layla from Homemade, who manages the setup and operations of boutique pop-ups and installations. And from her perspective and the way she deals with scaling up from an entrepreneur or from a startup to retail, she's played a beneficial role in assisting our designers in reaching broader markets within the retail space. And then, of course, you know, myself as the global business development, as well as the region director for Africa. As the owner of Style Africa, a digital media company, I promote, develop, and support the design industry in Africa, as well as an owner of the ethical jewelry company No Memo, which empowers women to generate an income through the art of handcrafted jewelry. And all of our expertise come together because we've got the skills as well as the knowledge in reaching our respective fields or of what we are able to offer within Africa. Projects we've run thus far include a retail accelerator program, mentoring designers wanting to enter into the retail space and equipping them with guidance and skills to manage their own retail store. And this is all in alignment with a global vision to build sustainable businesses. We've partnered with NGOs, other fashion councils, as well as government affiliates, and hosted annual Africa Modest Fashion Conference in conjunction with the Africa Halal Week held in South Africa by our government, bringing global investors, buyers, interest in the halal industry in Africa. We've also presented Africa on global platforms, as well as conducted training sessions around modest fashion. Africa isn't about fast fashion. Africa is very grounded in their ethical approach to designing, but also very all about consumer satisfaction. Consumers in Africa are now more aware of where and how their garments are made, aligning our efforts in Comp Africa to focus on sustainable fashion designing and ethical fashion. The continent is vast with human resources. We have values, we have skills that's been passed down from generation to generation. So the vision is to be able to tap into that pool of creativity, the pool of network, to be able to create beautiful garments that have history, meaning, and most importantly, that creatively and economically benefit hundreds of thousands of people across the value chain. So even during the pandemic, we ensured that no one was left behind. Anyone who needed some sort of assistance, we were easily available and readily available to assist in whichever way we were able. The African design aesthetic is growing on the US and European markets with the influence of Europe, Dutch, French, and Middle East, etc., on the African continent. You can only imagine that Africa is a very cosmopolitan country with a variety of offerings, from minimalist, traditional, cultural, and functional designs. Our retail offering for modest fashion, however, in Africa is very small or nothing. So modest fashion is mostly found in marketplaces, home boutiques, or pop-up stores. And as they are very little offering in mass retail stores and mall spaces, this has retained during the pandemic because people could sell from wherever they were. They didn't have to rely on people getting to market to huge retail spaces because they were one-on-one or they knew exactly where to find whatever they needed. And strange enough, there wasn't much of a decline in people buying modest fashion. In fact, in the last year, it actually picked up. And as one country mentioned before me, that wedding dresses or evening gowns wasn't something that was readily available or wasn't being sold as much. It was something that was sold in Africa. Or in South Africa, we actually found that people were still making individual unique dresses for people. And this specifically was because they were small gatherings. It wasn't large gatherings. People still wanted memorable experiences or moments to share and therefore still needed those garments. Conf Africa's aim, therefore, for the future is to develop strong fashion design contenders that are able to sustain their business for years to come. The plan is for us to mentor 3 to 5 designers annually from the level they start with us to scale them up to a sustainable fashion business. To do this, we will walk them through phases, grant them key local and global opportunities, and seek out funding, grants, and investment where it is needed. Our thinking is that if we can grow the full potential of 3 to 5 designers and walk them through their growth, we can ensure strong, consistent, and independent modest fashion businesses here in Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Roshan. Amazing presentation. It's lovely to hear that the consumer behavior is concerned and aware where is the garments or is it implementing sustainable concept for their fashion enthusiasts. Amazing. And next we're gonna hear a presentation and let's see what happened in Azerbaijan. Please welcome Farida Effendi. Hi Farida.
Assalamualaikum for everyone.
Welcome
Hi, how are
salam.
you?
We're good. I'm good, thanks. Please, we want to hear story from Azerbaijan.
Nice to see beautiful ladies here. And salam alaikum for everyone. So my name is Farida and I would like to touch on the topic of how the pandemic played a role in the modest fashion industry in Azerbaijan. So the coronavirus pandemic has transformed many businesses and the fashion industry is no exceptions. So fashion designers are moving sales to online platforms and starving for sustainable production. Financial difficulties play a role. The coronavirus pandemic has caused significant damage to the global fashion industry. So this self-isolation and rising unemployment have made consumers less likely to buy clothes and shoes. So at the same time, many of the fashion industry believe the pandemic should be seen as an opportunity for reboot. So designers began selling products on online platforms, but we are still opening by the rules set in the last century. The pandemic has allowed us to rethink everything. The Azerbaijani fashion industry is made up of small brands that don't have large resources and teams. Therefore, many were not ready for such a crisis. So many brands have started selling products directly through their own stores. Others have partnered with the major online retailers. Designers started using approach that had been avoided before. After the end of the crisis, people will return to traditional stores. The pandemic has shown all in the fashion industry the importance in investing in digital sales channel, I think. So I don't think that in the future fashion will only exist on internet, because fashion is a physical object that cannot be completely digitalized, such as music, films, and etc. Still, the fashion industry must use digital technology to survive somehow. The modest fashion sector has developed at a high level in Azerbaijan during our huge work over the past few years. Some Azerbaijani designers were even able to present their collections outside of the country. However, the coronavirus pandemic has practically paralyzed the work of this area. Unfortunately, the pandemic has left a huge mark in almost all areas of activity. Some professions were completely left out, the rest adapted and tried to somehow to survive. At the very beginning of the pandemic, I was faced with the fact that many designers in Baku in Azerbaijan were confused and did not know how and what to plan. And this is normal because there were no cases about the pandemic. But gradually, they began to believe in their trade. Many even began to actively participate in the social life of the country because, addition to the pandemic, Azerbaijan faced a war. To be honest, in fashion, as in all their industries, it all depends on the perception of the problem and your attitude towards it. It is understood that it will take a lot of time for the industry to return to the level that was formed before the pandemic. But people realize a lot during this period, and it became obvious that it is more profitable to conduct many processes online. This helped to save energy and resources. So we are waiting for interesting events such as Together Summit. Modest Fashion Together Summit will certainly surprise us all. So
Yes.
I call everyone to get together in this difficult time for us and support each other, because together we're strong and we can do a lot if we will do something together. And thank you for your attention and trust. Have a nice day and enjoy Together Summit. Can't wait.
Thank you, Farida. Thank you so much. Lovely to hear what is happened and what is going on in Azerbaijan, especially in modest fashion industry, and the situation there is not about the pandemic and also about the security issues in the country. And now we're jump into another country, another presentation from Europe. We're gonna hear a presentation from Miriam Labdiri. Hi, Miriam.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Assalamualaikum, Miriam. We cannot.
Great, salam.
We cannot wait to see what is going on with the modest fashion industry, especially in Europe. You're based in Germany, right?
Yes, right.
All right.
I'm near Mannheim in Germany. So,
All right.
yeah. Thank you for having me. So I'm going to start right away. So, well, here in Europe, the pandemic hit some of the established modest fashion brands very hard. So some of them had to close, others are taking a break. But in the same time, we see many others startups launching and everything. So there is a lot happening at the moment. And I think that during the pandemic, many people lost their jobs. So some of them now are working on their dreams, which was launching their own fashion brand. So we see lots of that happening here in Europe. And since the pandemic hit all the fashion industry, some of the big players in the mainstream fashion industry are now looking for new ways for new income. So now they're like more open for other brands, or even for the modest fashion industry. So we have lots of them coming now or reaching out to modest fashion brands. For some of the modest fashion brands, it's too late, because they've needed this like 5 years ago. They've been struggling without the pandemic. So the pandemic just hit the rest. But for other emerging brands, there is lots of communication happening now with marketplaces and also with retailers. If we go to the next slide, we have also some of the bigger fashion fair organizers, like the Frankfurt Fashion Week, who are now reaching out directly to modest fashion designers and modest fashion brands, and also to experts of the modest fashion industry, to look for ways how to include modest fashion as one of their new segments here in Europe. So this is also something we did not really have before the pandemic. That was something that we had always here in Europe to fight for, and to make them understand and believe that modest fashion is something very important, or a new important segment that will last. It's not just a trend. But now we have that. During the pandemic, things are changing and they are now more open for it. Maybe because also the fashion industry is normally such a very fast thing, and now everything is slowly. So people are now more recognizing what was happening around, and they didn't see it. So now they're acknowledging it more and reaching out. So for Conf Europe, there is now a lot to do to bring all these brands and designers, and also international brands and designers, to Frankfurt and also to Europe, and build that bridge to make the modest fashion brands that have been doing such an amazing job and also lifting this industry since many, many years before the pandemic, to make them more seen, more visible, and to help them enter the market, not just be seen, but also, to be part of these fairs, to enter the retail strategies. And so there is still a lot to do. And so I'm very proud and very happy to to do this, or to be able to play a role in this.
Thank you so much, Miriam. It's lovely to hear from you and try to understand what is happening in Europe, especially in Germany, that you are presenting. Now, hi, Aida Mehnas. You are going to tell us the story, the situation about modest fashion scene in South Asia.
Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well and having a lovely time at the Together Summit. So for South Asia, first we're going to start with some sort of a post-pandemic reality check, which I feel is very necessary for all of us here as well, and all of our viewers watching. There is no question that the pandemic has affected all industries across the world, including fashion, by extension, modest fashion. Many employees were laid off, and fashion businesses, or businesses in general, who didn't have enough capital, were shut down, amongst many other constraints that has slowed down the economy. Right now, what we believe is that fashion and also other industries are on reboot mode, and the situation is currently recovering. And step by step, we are seeing that everyone is starting to get back on their feet. We're really happy to report that I think it was day before yesterday that Bangladesh didn't have any single COVID cases that were reported for the country. So that is like a first of its own, given how densely populated the country is. That kind of statistic is very encouraging. So what we do is then we could look into why we consider South Asia to be a potential scope for modest fashion. I'm not going to talk about modest fashion to be very specific, but I'm going to have more of an outlook. More of a potential outlook of why we consider, or our South Asian team considers that why we have a lot of potential for modest fashion in the region. With a positive outlook in the future, I would like to point out the following reasons why modest fashion has an immense amount of potential, and here's why. The South Asian economies are very strong. Most powerful, it is considered as some of the most powerful economies in the world. For example, Bangladesh has known to be the second largest manufacturer in the world for a lot of biggest fashion brands that we know of. Certain places in India as well has been known to be a hub for technology, a hub for fashion, and so many other industries as well. Human resources we consider is to be our most strongest asset. For example, Bangladesh has 160 million population in such a small, dense of a country, whereas France, for all of its region, has 60 million in population. So that has been an immense amount of potential that we consider it to be, is something as our strongest qualities. Modest fashion is in our DNA because we have cultural learnings and also religious values that plays a strong role into who we are, how we dress, and how we choose to express ourselves. How do we succeed in this market? In order to succeed, we have to see how we can understand the values and how we can tap into recognizing what our intrinsic motivators are. For example, it's just a little simple example that I have seen while I've grown up in my own country, is that whenever you buy a dress, there's always a possibility that you will be given an extra piece of fabric just in case you want to make your sleeves longer. So there's this always little things or little added services or add-on services that we always had the luxury of having, that made it such like something that was very innate to us and not something that we need to adopt from different places or different parts of the world. So what also we have seen, for example, is that some of the local retailers and the mainstream retailers within the country of my native country of Bangladesh is that there is an existing line of scarves, whether that are made in house or whether that are designed in within the country or imported from China, Indonesia, Turkey, wherever. But there's always has been all the major retailers do have a mainstream line of scarves
Yeah.
that on their segment, on their product category, to make sure that people who practice or believe in modest fashion can also have that kind of luxury to buy what they need. One of the statistics disclosed by a local online marketplace is that scarves that are worn as hijabs has been the number one selling item on the platform, indicating that there is a certain items that are considered to be modest is something that is acceptable to the public and has been generating sales over the years. Therefore, recognizing our true values and also what like how Roshan said and in her speech, is tapping into the potential of the creativity that is within the region, tapping into the culture we have, tapping into the heritage we have within our own innate system. Because for I want people to know that South Asia does not consist of only butter chicken. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like,
Yes.
because that's what people think, where South Asia means India. India has butter chicken, and no,
Yeah.
that's not how we consider our own culture to be like. India
Right.
has a very strong presence in the region. It has a very strong value system that is quite influential, not just across the world, but also in the neighboring countries, such as mine, such as in Pakistan and a few others. So, but however, the value system for India is slightly different from what we have in Bangladesh and what we would see in Pakistan or what we would see in Sri Lanka. So, in order to understand, you need to do your research. The retailers need to do their research. We need to do our research to see what motivates us so we can advise these retailers to make sure they have that kind of, they are designing according to our needs, rather than making something that is like one size fits all for everyone and we just adopt what we are being served. That's absolutely not the case. This is one of the reasons why there is so many brands that have tried to cater to South Asia but have failed consistently because of the fact that they did not understand what makes the market tick and what people like and what is considered to be as something that people would actually buy with their hard-earned money, right? So there's so much diversity within the culture itself. So like from
Yes.
region to region, if you travel from one place to another, from north to east, south to west, you will see a variety in cuisines, you will see a variety in how people dress and how people speak. There's like a lot of motivators, and how you communicate about your brand is also very important. So you don't want to segregate saying, oh, this is an Islamic fashion, this is something that we can't, you don't
Right.
want, because most of the countries right now are calling or declaring themselves as a secular country. So we
Yes.
need to be able to have that kind of a language or that kind of communication within our brand strategies to make sure that we are promoting modest fashion that is for all, rather than something that is only targeted towards people who wear hijab or people who wear etc., etc., etc. So understanding, in short, understanding the market is super important, number one. Number two is you need to see what kind of designs, what kind of colors would work. For example, there was a little anecdote that I like to share with anyone that I speak about the region, is that one time I was in a sales forecast meeting, and there was this incident where I saw this pink, like a really shocking pink tunic
All right.
for men. And I
Oh.
saw that, and I immediately, like, I told to the rest of the team, is this is never going to sell. But that was the #1 selling tunic of the season. So I was wrong to understand that men would never wear a shocking pink tunic.
Wow.
But on the other hand, the sales team did prove me wrong, saying that you were wrong, Ida. So we have to think about what our product categories are for men. So it's like colors, designs, motives, material, fabrics. Like for example, in the region where Mariam is from, it's we see that there's a lot of minimalism. There's a lot of like black, whites, grays that we always wear. But if you wear black all the time and you're walking on the street of Dhaka, everyone's gonna think something weird has happened to you. Like there's this, you have that. I mean, like you can be wearing, like for example, when I'm based in Paris, but when I go to Dhaka, it's like I can't be wearing black too often because my mom would immediately point out, you're in Dhaka, you should wear the clothes that we wear here,
With
so that
colors,
it's
right.
with colors, with motives, with different kind of prints. So constantly switching to minimalism might not be the best choice for the market. You know, there's like little things even your mom can point out that is super interesting, because you see there's just like whole different duality of life and duality
Yeah.
of how we are and what we represent on a day-to-day basis, right? So even if you are wearing something black, but then there's will be a little bit of accents of red or gold or
Right.
something in order to make it quote unquote less boring. Could we go on to the next slide if we can? Oh yeah, I think we did, right? That's fine. So in South Asia, for example, what we want to say is that the economy post pandemic is booming. Digital is becoming very big.
Okay.
So if we want to survive in this day and age, there is no choice for us to go digital. We need to make it very easy for consumers to buy your product, to know more about your product. For example, what I've learned from my day-to-day communication within my team is that emails don't work. You have to WhatsApp everyone. And I'm sure Nadira from the team would agree with me as well, because I'm like so irresponsive on emails. I'm like constantly responding on WhatsApp. So it's kind of like the cultural and the behavioral aspect of how you see what kind of applications your consumer is using for your day-to-day communication. For example, I consult a brand where she's a very small brand. She started in 2018, and now like throughout the entirety of 2020 she conducted her business through WhatsApp. So she video called with all of her clients, showed them each and every product, sent all the products to their house for fittings, and then got back the ones that they didn't like, and kept the ones that they did. So you have to make it easy for people to understand, to know more about you, to learn more about you, and what are your values, and if it aligns with the day-to-day lifestyle of the people themselves. Therefore, within our comms team, what we try to do for South Asia is that we try to we like, it's relatively new in comparison to other branches of comms. That's why we try to we are trying to aim and also give consultation for strategic partnerships for different retailers, for different brands, to make sure whenever they're entering a market that is as complex as South Asia, that they understand that the market, if you're entering in India, is very different from the market that we are entering in Bangladesh. So you need to make sure, for example, if your communication is online, if you're aligned, and if your communications are also in terms of what you're offering is something that is acceptable for the people there. Otherwise, I mean, there's no point. So strategic partnerships and also educational facilities or educational partnerships is also quite important, because you need to educate your consumers, and also as well you need to educate the people who are buying for your consumers, the buyers. Therefore, these sort of strategic partnerships that we feel is quite important. And hopefully, inshallah, when we have a world is more freer and
The situation is getting better.
Definitely, we should be able to conduct more and more workshops and also more and more activities that support the cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ida. Such a brilliant explanation. And it's good to see a similar country, such as Bangladesh. Are based in Paris at the moment, but you can describe it very precisely what is happening and going. So people have to do their research to learn about the needs of the market as well. So they can know what is the method, the right methods to implement and to build or to develop the industry. So we are going to hear a presentation from Latin America presented by Eugenia Salazar. Por favor.
Primero, gracias a Franca por darnos esta oportunidad, no solamente a mí, sino a las marcas latinoamericanas, de estar presentes en Togeter. Para nosotros estamos muy agradecidas porque no tenemos mucho espacio ni visualización. Y la verdad que nos cuesta mucho exponer en Latinoamérica marcas de moda modesta. Así que muchas gracias. Estamos muy agradecidas, no solamente nosotras, sino y Cover, que también está participando. Así que muchas gracias por eso. Bueno, la situación en Latinoamérica es bastante diferente de otras partes del mundo. Somos muy musulmanes minoritarios, hay muy pocos musulmanes dentro de Latinoamérica. Brasil tiene un poco más de cantidad de musulmanes, pero no es mayoritario, ¿no? Sigue siendo una minoría musulmana. Tanto Argentina como Brasil crecen cada año en cantidad de musulmanes, pero seguimos siendo la minoría. De lo que se ve en Latinoamérica es que siempre se ve la mala imagen del Islam, con lo cual es muy difícil insertar marcas dentro de Latinoamérica. Es por eso que nos cuesta mucho salir de eso. En Latinoamérica hace muy poco se armó un proyecto en pandemia, que fue durante la pandemia, comenzó en pandemia, que se llama Hijab Latinoamérica. Es un proyecto que armamos al principio para marcas, pero después lo que se fue viendo es que había muchos emprendimientos dentro de Latinoamérica que querían tener visualización. ¿Y qué es lo que pasó con eso? Bueno, se empezaron a poner muchos más rubros, aparte del diseño de indumentaria y textil, que es a lo que nosotras nos dedicamos, tanto María y Nur como Cover. Después, bueno, de esta idea se empezaron a visualizar mucho más los emprendimientos y se empezaron a ver que había más marcas, aparte de María y Nur y Cover, que son pioneras dentro de la moda modesta en Latinoamérica. Nuestra idea es que haya muchos más proyectos como este y que Latinoamérica pueda salir y distinguirse en diseño de indumentaria y textil y que pueda seguir progresando, así como lo viene haciendo hasta ahora. Es por eso que siempre agradecemos todas las oportunidades que tenemos. Así que bueno, esa es como nuestra idea. En pandemia salieron muchos más proyectos de indumentaria y de todo tipo en Latinoamérica, y eso se va a mostrar que nosotros también tenemos nuestra propia identidad, más allá de que haya otras economías que se insertan acá, como por ejemplo, viene mucha ropa de reventa, con lo cual siempre está como insertado como que hay una moda árabe, se podría decir. Entonces, nuestra identificación, yo creo que Latinoamérica tiene que tomar identificación propia, identidad propia, y es por eso que estamos trabajando. Brasil tiene un reconocimiento mucho más de marca que Argentina, porque tiene mucho más color y muchas más texturas y se puede identificar más, pero Argentina va por el mismo camino y estamos siempre tomados de las manos para ir y caminar juntos y poder identificar Latinoamérica no solo en la región, sino en el mundo. Así que esa es nuestra idea. Muchas gracias. Lamento mucho no poder hablar en inglés, la verdad que me pongo muy nerviosa. Es muy difícil hablar en otro idioma que no es el propio y la verdad simplemente agradecer por la oportunidad.
Gracias, Eugenia. We already hear what happened in Latin America that is explained by Eugenia Salazar of Hijab Latino America, Maria and Nur, COMF Latina America. And from what we heard from the 7 ladies from 7 countries for continents, we can understand that we are facing similar situation. There is still the pandemic is still going in front of us. We are facing the same difficulties, but together we can help each other to get through this hard and tough situation for bringing and develop modest fashion industry and Muslim community in the world. Thank you so much for all speakers. Thank you for joining us today. And now we know about the situation in modest fashion industry in the world. And thank you so much. Hopefully our discussion today can enlighten all of us here, especially whoever works in modest fashion industry, in order not to continue to innovate, develop business by capturing various opportunity in the fashion industry. Thank you, Mbak Franca from Indonesia. Thank you, Diliara Sadrifa from Russia, Roshan in Africa, Farida Effendi from Azerbaijan.
Thank you.
Eugenia, gracias. Miriam Labdiri in Europe and Germany. And also thank you so much, Aida, for your explanation about what is going on and the situation in South Asia. As I mentioned earlier, probably as a one person, probably we can do so little. But together, I think we can go to this situation. Keep our heads, our positivity, our spirit, we can go through this. Thank you so much once again to all supporters of virtual events. Layanan Syariah LinkAja as title partner, Tokopedia as official marketplace, Ministry of Tourism and Economy of Indonesia, Wonderful Indonesia, Indonesian Chamber of Commerce, Badan Ekonomi Syariah, Council of Modest Fashion, Markamari, and last but not least, all our valuable organizations, communities, media, and F&B partners. Thank you so much, everyone, join and following the discussion here at Together, powered by Layanan Syariah LinkAja. Stay together. We're gonna have another great session, fashion show, talk show. Please don't go anywhere. And once again, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. My name is Syafira. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.